Hi, this is Danny from DannyWallacePT.com. In today's video, I'm going to be coaching you through how to do an exercise that most people that aren't familiar with this tend to shy away from and be a bit fearful of. And the exercise I'm talking about, of course, is a standard push-up. Now, I should just point out from a coaching perspective that just getting down on the floor and doing push-ups when you're not familiar with them is really hard work. This is a tough exercise and requires a lot of upper body strength. It's kind of the equivalent of saying I'm going to attempt running by signing myself up for a 10k. There's a big challenge involved there, and doing push-ups is something we have to kind of build you up to. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 4 different versions of push-ups that you can start with at level 1, which is really easy, that everyone can do, completely accessible. And then I'm going to show you how to progress the exercise so you can build up to doing full push-ups on your toes, and you can get there in a much more confident way than just trying it from scratch on day 1. Right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start you with level 1. Level 1 is called a wall push-up, and this is where you would start if you are a complete beginner or haven't exercised at all before. What you're going to do is find a little bit of empty wall space. You're going to stand in front of the wall with your hands outside shoulder distance at about chest height. From there, we're going to take a step back. Now at this point, the step that you take is going to determine how tough or easy this particular version becomes. A very generous step becomes more challenging, and a smaller step is a little bit easier. So gauge where you feel is right. Brace the core, so we're going to be drawing in underneath the navel between the hip bones, and that's going to engage your deep corset muscles, which will hold your spine in place and protect your lower back from overarching. And then we're going to, from here, straighten the arms, and then from there we're going to gently just lower your chest into the wall, pause for a second, and then breathe and push. Now at this level, I would aim to build up to 20 repetitions before we move on to level 2. And level 2 moves you on to doing a very similar exercise, but this time we're doing counter push-ups. Now counter push-ups are almost the same as wall push-ups, but we change the angle of the body slightly. So as we're leaning against the counter, the body goes at a slight decline, so we're going to be putting a little bit more of a challenge through the body, as gravity has now more of an influence on the pushing phase of the push-up. So once again, stand in front of the counter, take that generous step back or slightly smaller step if you find it's too challenging, hands in the same position as before, and then chest almost to touch your counter and then push away. Very straightforward. Once again, at this phase, I would build up to doing 20 repetitions before you're ready to move on to phase 3. Now phase 3 is where we actually bring you down to the floor. This is where we're going to be doing push-ups on the knees. What we're going to do from here is go down onto the floor. We're going to be taking the hands, again, exactly the same position, outside shoulder distance, just in front of the chest there. Once again, engage your core, and then from here we lower your body towards the ground. Little pause when you've got as low as you can, and then we're going to breathe and push. Now the objective here is to get your chest as close to the ground as you can. In this phase, once again, build up to 20 repetitions until you're ready to move on. Now before we go on to full push-ups, I'm going to introduce a 4th stage, because the jump from the knees up onto the toes is a big one. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to put something in between, a little kind of intermediate phase, and the hardest thing about doing full push-ups is the push. Alright, so with this level 4 push-up, we're going to do something called negatives, or negative push-ups. And negative push-ups only focus on the lowering phase. We're going to be only bringing you down to the floor. So we're going to put you up onto your toes this time, hands in the same position as before with the arms straight. Brace the core as we did before, and this time we're going to be working on bringing your chest to touch the floor, and we actually want to make physical contact with the ground. Now bear in mind I said chest, not tummy and not pelvis. We want to brace the core to keep the pelvis away from the ground, but we want the chest to touch. On the way back up, do it any way you like, make it as easy as possible. Come back up on your knees, reset yourself, brace the body, and then repeat. Just work on that nice, slow, lowering phase. Again, up to 20 repetitions would be great, and then you are ready for the full push-up. Okay, so level 5 is our full push-up variation, and once you've practiced and perfected those previous exercises, you are ready to move on to your full push-up. From here, we're going to again put you up on the hands, nice straight line down through the body, once again engaging the core, and then you're ready to bring the chest down to the ground. Pause, hold, breathe, and push. It's always important to breathe out on the push. Okay, so those are our 5 different variations today of how to introduce you to push-ups. Now, with those levels, hopefully they won't just match your current levels of ability, but they should also match your current levels of confidence. So you can start to integrate this exercise into your routines and workouts. So not just do you feel a little bit happier about actually trying the exercise, but you're building confidence with it, you're building the ability. And I promise you, once you've mastered level 1 and you start moving up through those different levels, you're going to feel so much more motivated about this exercise. You're going to feel like you've got small wins every time you move up a level, and it's going to motivate you to want to keep going with it. And that's where motivation comes from. It's from mastering these small wins with our exercise goals. So with that in mind, once you've mastered these push-ups, you can do a whole different range of things with this exercise. It can be progressed in lots and lots of different ways. You can introduce stability balls, benches, you can take your legs up off the floor to increase the amount of core stabilization that's needed through the body. So there is a whole ton of things that you can do with this exercise, and I'll do an advanced push-up video if you'd like to see it another time in another video. But for now, I hope you found this video useful. I hope it's given you a good starting point with your exercise with this particular movement. If you'd like to leave a comment in the comment section below to let me know what your favorite version is of this particular move and where you've started, I'd love to hear from you. And if you've enjoyed the video, please do hit like and subscribe to the channel so you get notified of all my future content so you don't miss out on future videos. Until then, thank you so much for watching. I hope it's been useful for you, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Until then, you take care.